Hi everyone, it's Karen here. Welcome to another video with me and Lavinia Stamps. And today I'm going to share with you this trick or treat bag, which is part of the Lavinia extravaganza for this Halloween. So I've got these ribbons, which I will tie around the handles when I'm finished. But here we have, so I've created this panel and then I have adhered it to a paper bag, which I got from the stationery shop. I bought 100 in a pack because you can never have too many, can you? And I just thought this will make such a fabulous trick or treat bag. They fold really flat, so it's great for us to work on. So we're going to create this panel separately and then we'll stick it on at the end. The stamps that I'm going to be using, I've got Tree of Hope and Tree of Courage either side. I've got the fabulously spooky Willow Witch. She comes with a pot as well. Then I've got a small dragon. His name is Medela. And then I'm using one of the miniature star stamps from the pound range. And I've got two stencils too. I'm using pods and I'm using white orbs. You'll have seen me use white orb a lot. I love it because you've got two sizes of circles in the one stencil. So we'll get started. The size card that I'm going to be using here, I start with 21 centimetres by 15 centimetres, but what I ended up with, once I cut it down, and you'll see why when we get through the process, it ended up being 16.5 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, but you'll want to decide that when you find the paper bags for the right size that you got. So the very first thing we're going to be using we're going to ink up our trees on the either side of our scene. I didn't even tell you what colours we're going to be using, but you can see them to the side of me here. We've got Crackling Campfire and Spiced Marmalade. Oh my goodness, aren't they the ideal Halloween colours? Crackling Campfire is rather a strong colour, so we use that a bit cautiously. I've got Black Soot that I have blended around the edge to draw the whole image in, and then I'm stamping everything with Nocturne VersaFine Clair. As you know, this gives us a beautifully crisp image every single time. And I'm going to pop my first tree down on my card. And then my Tree of Courage, which is going to go on the other side. These are beautifully detailed stamps. Absolutely love them. So I'm going to give them a bit of a gap in the centre. Lovely. That gives us a space for our scene and for our dragon to be popping through the midst of the trees. Then I'm going to ink up my Willow Witch. And because she's quite a solid stamp, I'm going to make sure that she's really well inked here. And I'm going to pop her down on this left side. That gives me enough space for the pot, the spooky spells, the stars to come up. So that's her. And now we're going to stamp up our dragon. Pop him down. I don't usually do it with my hands, but there we go. And we're going to pop him like that so that his tail is curling into the center of the image, like that. And then we're going to take our pot, which is the other stamp in the Willow the Witch set. And again, all of this we are stamping in VersaFine Clair Nocturne. And Tracy's done a great job on this pot because she's done this shading for us. Ever so clever. Lovely. Right, so we've got the main story happening. And now we're going to add our colour. So I'm going to take my spiced marmalade and squish it onto my piece of acetate that I've got here. Take my 1-inch brush. This is a flat wash brush and it works perfectly for this technique. I'm going to spritz it with a bit of water and then I am going to mop up my brush, picking up all of that ink and water so that my brush is well inked. And then I'm going to take, now you have to be bold, spiced marmalade, and we're going to move this in a circular motion around the witch, around our scene. Now you can see that I'm doing this in a circular motion because I want a tiny bit of white here and there. That's just going to add a bit of lightness to the overall design. That is a spiced marmalade. And then I'm going to take Crackling Campfire. And as I said, wow, this is a vibrant colour. And again, give it a bit of a spritz here. Same thing, I didn't wash my brush in between. They're the same colourway, so it's okay. I'm just going to put a bit more water. It is a very vibrant colour. And yeah, that's better. So it's not as dark. And then I'm just going to wash this around the edge. You can see that I'm moving the brush like this so that I don't get solid lines. I'm creating a bit of scratchiness here and there. It all adds to the kind of spookiness that we're trying to achieve and that's synonymous with Halloween. So, there we have it. Okay, now I'm going to clean all this off and give it a bit of a dry with a heat gun and come back to you. So here we have it, nice and dried, and you can see it looks a bit rough. That's okay, around here and here, that's okay. As I said, it's going to add to this overall spookiness. We're going to add the stenciling now, and you'll see how this is all going to come together beautifully. I'm using the small orbs on this right side, and I'm going to use spiced marmalade for this. I'm going to move this brush in a circular motion, and I'm not going to press too hard because you want these orbs to be fading into the background a little. Perhaps a little more, because you want this orangey hue throughout our whole image. Now, can you see on some of these orbs, I haven't done a circular motion through the whole orb, so we're getting sort of parts of the orbs. Again, this is adding to this spooky, ethereal feel. So I'm just tapping off a bit of the ink just to make sure that I don't get any unsightly splodges. There we are. I'm happy with my white orbs, and you can see there that I left a white patch in the center. Again, it just draws it. That's the center of our image, and it draws our eye nicely to it. I'm then going to take Pod's fabulous stencil, this, and I think it works really well for this design. I'm going to take Crackling Campfire, as I said, a very dark color. And I am now going to apply this colour all around where we applied the wash of Crackling Campfire. I haven't taped this stencil down. I don't feel like it needs it. I am keeping this brush moving in a circular motion. And I'm making sure that these pods sorry, I was concentrating, so I had to stop talking. Do you do that? You're concentrating so hard that you forget I must carry on talking. There we go. So we've got this happening in the background. And then I'm going to use a piece here and a bit down here, so that we've got this sort of spookiness happening all around our design. I'm using the best part of the pods, even though, of course, the whole stencil is the best part, but I'm moving it so that they don't all look too uniform. Because, of course, spookiness, etc., not very uniform. Fabulous. We missed a bit down here. Great. And now what I'm going to do is take my miniature stars. This has to be one of my favourite stamps. I use it such a lot. I should stop saying that, shouldn't I? My favourite stamps. I've got so many. How does one choose at all? Okay, and I start close to the pot, and I'm going to put them at different places so that they kind of looks like bubble and trouble. The pot is boiling over. So there we have. That is our main design. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim it down, and then I will blend around the edge with black ink, and then we are nearly done. So here we are. My size that I've ended up with is 17 centimetres by 13.5. That's slightly different from my original, which was 16.5 centimetres by 14.5. And the reason for that is because I've left a bit more of a gap between these two trees. No worries, works just the same. It all depends on the size of your paper bag. So I'm now going to take my black soot and my smoothie with a piece of paper to protect. Oh, that's a lot of black ink. And I'm just going to create a bit of a frame around this whole card. By creating this frame, it draws your eye inwards, making sure that the focal point, the center of the card, is what you focus upon. So there we have our gorgeous topper for our trick-or-treat bag. We're just going to glue it down, and like I said, you can apply some ribbons, etc. onto the handles if you so wish. Just want to talk about the difference in colours. Here was my original, and here was the one I've just done for you. The original is slightly more orange around the edge, and that's because I added a bit more water into this one, so it's a bit paler. So whichever look you like, I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to see your makes. I hope there's still time for you to get started. Have fun. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.